I think I'm entitled.
You want answers!
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work. When you go to church. When you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
And just last month, while feuding with President Trump, Elon Musk posting, "Time to drop the really big bomb. At real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, Donald J. Trump." But Musk later deleted that post and others, saying he went too far in attacking Trump. The president saying he cut ties with Epstein nearly 2 decades ago, saying even Epstein's lawyer cleared him.
Caroline. Okay, so the FBI looks at the circumstances surrounding the death of Jeffrey Epstein. According to the report, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. So what happened to the Epstein client list that the Attorney General said she had on her desk?
Well, I think if you go back and look at what the Attorney General said in that interview, which was on your network, on Fox News.
Got the quote.
Go ahead.
John Roberts said, DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen? And she said, it's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Yes, she was saying the entirety of all of the paperwork, all of the paper in relation to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. That's what the Attorney General was referring to, and I'll let her speak for that. But again, when it comes to the FBI and the Department of Justice, they are more than committed to ensuring that bad people are put behind bars.
Caroline, the DOJ and FBI have now concluded there was no Jeffrey Epstein client list. What do you tell MAGA supporters who say they want anyone involved in Jeffrey Epstein's alleged crimes to be held accountable?
This administration wants anyone who has ever committed a crime to be held accountable, and I would argue this administration has done more to lock up bad guys than certainly the previous administration. And the Trump administration is committed to truth and to transparency. That's why the Attorney General and the FBI Director pledged at the President's direction to do an exhaustive review of all of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and his death. And they put out a memo in conclusion of that review. There was material they did not release because, frankly, it was incredibly graphic and it contained child, which is not something that's appropriate for public consumption. But they committed to an exhaustive investigation. That's what they did, and they provided the results of that. That's transparency.
I have spent the last 17 years in my own prison for what she, Jeffrey, and all the co-conspirators did to me. I was repeatedly. I was 3 times a day sometimes. And I was not the only girl on that island. There was a constant stream of girls being over and over and over again. And yes, Ghislaine must die in prison because I've been in hell and back for the last 17 years.
And 27 for me.
I was 10 years old when Liz Stein was being trafficked. I was 10. That is how long this trafficking ring has been going on.
Taking a live look at the White House this morning, you've probably heard before that President Donald Trump, along with other prominent leaders and celebrities, were on the so-called Epstein list. Now the FBI is putting those theories to rest.
Yeah, overnight the agency releasing hours of video footage and some other findings, trying to put to rest those conspiracy theories that Jeffrey Epstein's death was a I imagine they will only ramp up from here on out, though. The FBI also saying that it found no client list at all.
Yeah, ABC's Andrew Denbert walks us through these newly released details.
Overnight, the FBI and Justice Department releasing 11 hours of footage they say helps confirm notorious financier Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide in his Manhattan jail cell in 2019, awaiting his trafficking trial. According to a memo detailing the findings, investigators found the video showed no one entering the area in the overnight hours before Epstein was found unresponsive. But perhaps the biggest bombshell, investigators say they found no incriminating client list of Epstein's, no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals, and no evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. For years, Epstein has been at the center of conspiracies surrounding both his death and a rumored client list allegedly used to blackmail powerful men. Attorney General Pam Bondi, back in February, was asked if the Justice Department intended to release a list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients, Bondi saying this.
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
You were in the same prison as Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes.
What do you think happened?
Jeffrey Epstein would have to be a magician to try to himself in that cell. I was in that cell. There's no way that, there's nothing on the ceiling. The bedpost is this high. I couldn't even go to a restroom without them walking back and forth and having me on camera. You know, there's no way he committed suicide.
So you reckon he was killed?
Yeah,
why?
I believe that. I mean, look, there's no doubt there was powerful people involved with him, 100%. These people have a way of covering things up.
Meantime, a new report from FBI and Department of Justice debunking claims Senator Jeffrey Epstein kept a client list. The report also says Epstein was not murdered during his stay in a Manhattan jail, and there's no evidence he blackmailed prominent people. The Trump administration plans to release a video to prove their findings on Epstein's 2019 death, which led to a slew of conspiracy theories. The disgraced mogul first pleaded guilty in 2008 for soliciting underage and was placed on the sex offenders list.
The Democrats raked up a storm over Elon Musk's now deleted tweet, in which the billionaire claimed that Trump was named in the Epstein files. However, Musk gave no other context or evidence in the since deleted post. After the latest Axios report on the administration closing Epstein's case, Musk put out another post taking a swipe at the Trump administration's changing stance on the Epstein files. And joining us live on the broadcast is our correspondent, Susan Tehrani. She's joining us live from New York. Hi, Susan. Of course, talk to us more about how these findings represent the first time that the Trump administration has officially contradicted the conspiracy theories and activities surrounding Epstein.
Yeah, absolutely. It is the first official repudiation of those conspiracy theories that, first of all, Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, and second of all, there was this clients list, basically, that Epstein had of wealthy and powerful individuals. The Justice Department says that there is no such evidence and has urged people to not go around and spread these rumors and conspiracy theories. However, as you mentioned, there are many who are skeptical, including Elon Musk, and a lot of people who actually voted for Donald Trump. And one of the reasons for that was because they believed that the Trump Justice Department would possibly put out a clients list, or they were hoping that this conspiracy theory was indeed true. So this skepticism is going to continue. The conspiracies aren't going anywhere, but it appears that the Justice Department wanted to put a lid on this with Kash Patel and Pam Bondi at the helm, and sort of say that there is really nothing more to see here. Now, it's also important to note that, a group of conservative influencers were invited to the White House, and they were seen a few months back leaving the White House with these banners that had thousands of pages related to the Jeffrey Epstein file, and they were promised sort of more will come after that. But nonetheless, these are material that have been made public as of now. And even they're saying now that what happened to this evidence that we were sort of promised at the White House that day, besides these big white binders. So, the conversation is going to continue. But as far as the Justice Department and FBI is concerned, first of all, he didn't himself, and second of all, there doesn't seem to be a clients list.
We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
But perhaps the biggest bombshell, investigators say they found no incriminating client list of Epstein's, no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals, and no evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties.
That's right. After months of promising to deliver the goods on the Jeffrey Epstein case, Trump's Justice Department and the FBI have miraculously concluded there is no evidence that Epstein blackmailed powerful figures, kept a client list, or was murdered. Cenk, before we get into the details and all of the fallout, are you buying it?
Of course not. Literally no one sane could buy this.